Okay. Okay, Ben, I've got a question. I think that specifically for you, often when I'm working with customers, well, very common when I'm working with customers, they have certain ideas that they've learned from, I'll just call it big ag, through the marketing, through the agronomy network, but they have certain concepts or beliefs that they, hold true, that they've learned through the big ag channels, we'll call it. And from our approach to some things counters or it puts these things into question. So I often consider that kind of trapped in that mentality of the big ag, believing everything that big ag says. How would you address that in terms of how we're doing some things different and how people can embrace that idea?
Well, the first thing is we have to realize that the knowledge base that everybody makes their decision from is 60, 70 plus years old. And it's a generational thing that gets handed down to the next generation each time. So the message was actually adapted by your bigger fertility and chemical companies because that's what worked generationally. And it was very difficult, like for us and anybody else, to go onto a farm and understand the dynamic shift between one generation and the next. Even though they're related, it's very different because learning changes every decade. We've learned as time goes on. And an example of that is, the 1-to-1 nitrogen to bushel yield ratio in corn. If that were true, then everybody would grow 300 bushels of corn. I think we have learned so much in how crops and how the activity of farms are affected by weather and so many other attributes that we have to consider when we're looking at a plan for crops, that what we do, we have to go in and we have to make people understand and show them that we do in fact know, we have in fact acquired a knowledge base that's broadened since they first entered ag. And we have to show them, the science of that. And that disarms them to a point. You still have that socioeconomic wall built there that you have to also deal with. And when you look at techniques that are learned in past generations, it actually is the entire industry is turning back towards efficiency. And efficiency is the way to go. And making that message clear about what we have to offer in the term of efficiency is very important to how we basically unwind that knowledge that keeps getting passed generation to generation. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, that's the way my daddy did it or my granddaddy did it. And there's a lot of truth in that, and there's a lot of very important knowledge in that. But granddaddy didn't get to come 40 years into the future and learn what we've learned. So you have to help a grower adapt that knowledge with current knowledge that we show.